For this review sheet, you should do the problems ahead of time and then go from there, checking back with this video, put them in a split screen. So on the left side, put the show me, that's this picture, and then use the video and put it on the right. Do a couple of problems, check them, or do one and check them. Or if you don't know, just watch it and then fill it in from there. When you're done, make sure you click done so that this can be graded. For question number 1, don't worry about it, it just wasn't done. Question number 2, write all those 9s using an exponent. To do that, you would count as many 9s as you have, so it would be 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 9, so 9 to the 6th power. For the next problems, you need to know the order of operations, and that's Pemdas. So the order of operations is anything in parentheses is first, and then you do any exponents, then multiplication and division are equal powers, you do those from left to right, and addition and subtraction are equal powers, and you do those from left to right. So I would look through, and I see that there's a multiplication one here, so I'm going to skip the adding and subtracting, so I'll do that first, and then I rewrite. So it'll really save me a lot of trouble later. So it'll be 5 plus 20 minus 7. Then I just have to go in order, left to right. 5 plus 20 is 25, minus 7 is 18. For number 4, same idea. You need to find, there's parentheses, but they're not there for any other reason, just to show it's a positive number. And then multiplication and division from left to right. So that would just be from left to right, multiplication, and then there's a subtraction, so that would be last. So this would be 16 minus 11, and that gives us 5. For the next problem, you take a look, it says 55 divided by 5 times 4. That division sign shouldn't be in there, cross it out. That's just simple, just straight across. So 55 divided by 5 is 11, and multiply that by 4 is 44. For number 6, it says Tanya purchased 4 hammers for $11.79 each and 7 screwdrivers for $6.65 each. Write an expression for the total cost of the tools and then find the total cost. First step that you would do is you would just, there's 4 hammers, and you're multiplying that by $11.79, and you're adding to that 7 screwdrivers for $6.65 a piece. So it would just be 2 separate multiplication, and you add them together. So for this one, if you just do the multiplication first, it's just order of operations. You could put parentheses in if you wanted to, but you don't have to. So it'd be 47.16 plus 46.55. Add them together, you get 93.71. For these problems, you're just substituting in the number for the variable. And if there's no space between those, it means multiplication. For the second one, 2 times c plus 3 times a, you just substitute in the numbers. So you get 2 times 6 plus 3 times 3. Order of operations, it's 12 plus 9, which is 21. For number 9, substituting it in again. Putting the 3 in for the a, and then multiplying it by b, and b is actually 2. It would be 3 times 3, which is 9, times 6, which is 54. For the next one, it says writing a phrase as an algebraic expression 16 seconds faster than Nadja's time. Well, if Nadja's time is t, standing for time, if 16 seconds faster than that would be t plus 16. You could say 16 plus t. Both are correct. 1 piece more than twice the number of pieces. So if you have twice the number of pieces, that's twice p, if p is the number of pieces, and it's 1 more than that. So 1 more than twice the number of pieces. And you skip number 12 because it's not complete. For these next ones, it says determine whether the 2 expressions are equivalent, meaning that they're equal to each other. If so, what property is applied? So on this first one, if you take a look, you will see that 8 times 2 is in parentheses times 5, and then they've just switched the parentheses, so that is the associative property. Now the reason I think has that as associative, it means who it's associating with. The 8 associates with the 2 here, but then the 2 changes and associates with the 5 instead. For number 14, it's just 13 plus 0 equals 13. That's the identity property of addition, and that's identity of addition. And the reason that you can remember that one as identity is the identity of 13. If you add 0 to it, it keeps its identity. It's still the same. But if it's multiplication, to keep the identity, you have to multiply it by 1. Number 15 is a trick question. This one does not work because when you are doing the associative property, it has to be for addition. If for subtraction, you're using the order of operations and it mixes everything up. So on this one, I'd have to do the 5 minus 3 first, and that's 2, and 12 minus 2 is 10. But in this one, I'd have to do parentheses first, so it's 12 minus 5, which is 7, and minus 3 is 4. So they are not equal. It is not a property. For these next ones, we're just using the distributive property, and that is just spreading them out. If you're having trouble with the distributive property, just look back on Monday's lesson, and then on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, a little bit repeated from that. So that's from last week. But all you do is you multiply the first part, and then the second part. Don't forget that second part. So this would be 5x plus 5 times 9 is 45. On the next one, you have to do for both 9v plus 18. In this last one, it's 7b, and then the 7 times 3.5, which is 24.5. For these next ones, lesson was on Wednesday, last Wednesday. You can take a look. All you're doing is you're putting like terms together. In other words, if they are similar, there's 7x's and 3x's and 4x's. There's a lot of x's in there. You just add them up and you get 14x's. I just take 7x plus 3x, which is 10x, plus 4 more x's, 14x's. It's how many x's you have total. Now in this one, you have to do 2 steps. You're taking the distributive property, which is 10x plus 40y. Now can you put x's and y's together? No, not when they're separate like this. If you just picture them as like there's 10 little x's and 40 little y's, can they be put together? No, not at all. On the next one, you can put a few together. You can put x's together. So there's 6 x's on one side, 9 x's over here. You can put those together to get 15 x's. Can you add those 2 y's in there? No, not at all. So it's 15x plus 2y. For this problem, you could look back at last Monday's if you're confused about these, but you have to pull something out of this. And it's a 9x plus 36y. What can I pull out of those? I know that 9, 36, a common factor they have is 9. So I could pull a 9 out of there. Then it'd be x plus, and then 9 times 4 is 36, but I have to have that y in there because I want 36y. So this would be 9x plus 36y. Mine looks a little different than yours. I had to write mine in, but yours will be on your page. 12x plus 18y. This is one of those tricky ones. You have to find out what goes into both 12 and 18. And I know that 6 goes into both. So if I pull a 6 out of there, 6 times 2 is 12. So I get 2x plus, and then 6 times 3 is 18. But I have to get that a y. And you always check back. This is 12x plus 18y. And that would be our answer. Make sure to submit this by hitting done. That goes in, it does get graded, and then start working on the assignment, which will be found right after this.